To all the seniors graduating, I know this year did not turn out the way you or anyone else wanted it to, but if it makes you feel even the slightest bit better, this past school year had some incredible movies, and I'm here to talk about them. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this year's final episode of Raider Reviews, the first and only review show on the Raider News channel. My name is Ben Friedman, and today we're not just taking a look at one film, we're taking a look at 5 films. Specifically, the top 5 films that came out during the 2019-2020 school year. The 9-month span between September and June gave us some phenomenal films, mainly on the 2019 side because of the everything that's been going on in 2020. But ignoring all of that, these 5 films that I'm about to talk about rise above all the rest to bring us some phenomenal cinematic experiences, and I cannot wait to talk about them. Now, of course, this is going to be a bit of a different episode. So every film on this list is going to get a short segment where I briefly go over the good and the bad from all the films. If I took the time to go over these films, if I did from a normal Raider Reviews episode, we'd be here all day and probably into next week. And a quick disclaimer before we begin, the Academy Award-winning Parasite will not be on this list, mainly because it would take the number 1 spot with zero competition whatsoever. If you want to hear my thoughts on Parasite, then check out the Raider Reviews episode I did for this year's Best Picture winner. Got it? Good. Then off we go to number 5. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Man, we could really use Mr. Rogers right about now. Released on November 22nd and directed by Marielle Heller, this film focuses on world-famous TV host Fred Rogers and a journalist who's responsible for writing a piece about him for Esquire magazine. And man, oh man, this movie made me feel things. This film presents just how valuable being kind can be and just how much of an impact it can have on anyone's life. And it's all thanks to a powerhouse performance from the one and only Tom Hanks. He delivers an absolutely perfect performance that is easily one of the best of his career and one of the best of the year. Even though this film is only number 5 on the list, it's easily the most heartfelt movie of the entire school year. The dramatic beats work perfectly with a tight script and some excellent performances from the rest of the cast alongside Hanks. Even the film's transitions are super stylized, harkening back to the classic days of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Putting the icing on the cake for what a great film this was. And while it's not the best, and there were some problems with character development and some slow moments, number 5 on the list is certainly nothing to be ashamed of. Number 4, 1917. This is a film that wowed audiences by bringing such a slick and stylized style to the traditional war movie. Released on December 25th and directed by Sam Mendes, 1917 was shot and edited in a style that made it look uncut and made it look like it was shot in one singular long take. And that decision helps elevate the film above a lot of other war movies. Having everything feel like one take really helps you get on board with the characters and the story, helping you connect with and root for them from scene 1. It also helps you get more invested in the action and the goals that these characters are trying to accomplish. George McKay and Dean Charles Chapman are great in the lead roles, adding on to the quality of this movie. However, the main thing that drops this film down to number 4 on this list is because it really does drag from time to time. Despite it only clocking in at 2 hours, there are still several parts of this film that just keep on going when you just want everything to move on, and it even hurts the one-shot style. There's one scene in particular that just drags on and on. It was so tired. I felt like I was going to take a nap, if I'm being honest. And it was also in the darkest setting that they could have possibly drummed up. Even the natural lighting that they tried to involve didn't help at all. At the end of the day, though, it's not something that's going to hurt this film in the long run. 1917 is a great war movie and movie in general, and its recognition and acclaim is nothing unearned. However, in my eyes, it's only the 4th best film of the 2019-2020 school year. Number 3, Jojo Rabbit. I don't think Taika Waititi can do any wrong, honestly. Released on October 18th and written and directed by the aforementioned Waititi, Jojo Rabbit is an excellent look into the dangers of blind fanaticism and blind allegiance via a young child named Jojo. Jojo is played by Roman Griffin Davis, who is an absolute stud in the making. His performance in this film was nothing short of excellent. And he gets a lot of help from the script, which manages to be so urgent and important and still have a great amount of laugh-out-loud jokes. The supporting cast is amazing as well, with bona fide stars and great performances from those bona fide stars all around. The set design is wonderful, the soundtrack is great, and the story is the best it could be. It starts out in a typical satire way, but then it blindsides you with, honestly, what's probably one of the most emotional and gut-punching moments in any film released within the 2019-2020 school year. It's a moment that you will not see coming, and it will shake you to your very core. From there, the film becomes way more dramatic and surprisingly more intense, and it just holds you on the edge of your seat until the very end. The only real problem with the film is that Jojo's development isn't the best throughout the film, but it makes a lot of sense because he's just a kid, and his thoughts may never be something solidified right at any certain moment. It's something that anyone can relate to, kid or not. And it's the icing on the cake for just a great film. But even though it's that good, I think there are still two better movies. Number 2, The Lighthouse. This is probably the best film of the 2019-2020 school year from an objective standpoint, but in my eyes, The Lighthouse is only my second favorite. But with that said, wow, this film was a trip. Amazing performances from Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson kick us off, playing off each other with some truly amazing on-screen chemistry. The story is simple but effective, growing more and more intense as time goes on. The film can even make you feel claustrophobic thanks to this film's incredibly small aspect ratio, helping you feel what the characters are feeling. The score and sound design is haunting, adding on to the strange mix of both fear and somehow wonder that this film emits. Sure, this is certainly not the film for everyone, and many people won't understand it. I thought I wouldn't understand it when I went in, and I still kind of don't understand it. But at the end of the day, none of that should matter, and seeking this film out would absolutely be in your best interest. But despite all of this, there's still one more film I liked better than all the rest. Number 1, Knives Out. God, I love this movie so much, and I'm gonna try my hardest to keep this short and not completely gush about it, but everything in this film is incredible. Released on November 27th and written and directed by Rian Johnson, Knives Out is a stellar and original murder mystery with one of the best and most loaded casts I have ever seen. So many stars lined up for a role in this film, including James Bond himself, Daniel Craig, and a rising star in Ana de Armas, who play off each other amazingly. The story keeps you captivated at every turn, and you're always invested in everything the characters are going through. The set design is terrific, adding on to the scope of it all. The score is also terrific. The writing has some great dramatic and comedic moments, an excellent mix, showing just how good an original Rian Johnson film could be, and how much better off he is at not making another Star Wars film. It's a fun, bloody, iconic film already. It's an instant classic, and it is, without question, my favorite film that came out in the 2019-2020 school year, not named Parasite. Thank you, everyone, for watching and keeping up with this series ever since the pandemic started. I specifically want to thank Mr. Moscow and, of course, viewers like you for allowing me to write and make a show about something that I love to just talk about week after week. It's been such a pleasure. And I want to congratulate once again everyone who will be graduating. I know it's not the way you wanted it, but hey, you did it. You're moving on, and you should be so proud of that. And don't worry, Raider Reviews will be back and better than ever next year. So I'm not done yet, and you haven't seen the last of me. So for the final time, my name is Ben Friedman. Congrats once again to everyone who's graduating. Have a great summer, stay safe, and I'll see you in September.